that is the 5 major elements of proper running form. That is the dcrunningcoach.com running 101 method. You know, how much of those messages I put into one session with a runner really just depends on what kind of hand I've been dealt. I mean, you definitely sense some common themes that I try to give to all runners at some point in the Running 101. I don't have too much of a script. If a certain joke keeps working and keeps hitting, then everyone gets the same joke when I go over running form. But again, with arm swing, I'm trying to remind people, you don't have to pump your arms till you get to 4th gear. We want to conserve energy and just keeping the wrists by the ribs, and learning hip to cheek sprint mechanics and watering that down goes a long way in getting rid of all the side-to-side stuff. Hip posture, we're not spilling water out of the front of the bucket. That ties into strength training. It's very evident how that ties into strength training. I said more than enough about stride rate and cadence and where my thoughts are there. I'd love to get you up around 90, but I'm not going to force the issue. You are an individual. You have different leg mass, different height, different ankle mass. You're training for something differently. You've been running for a different amount of years. Your body weight, your age, your history of injuries. I'm going to factor all that in, executive decision, into your stride rate if we have to change it, into your foot strike if we have to change it. Most runners are heel strikers. We're going to shoot for a subtle heel strike, or if the timing is right, if the person's athleticism is high enough where they can really pick this up, if they're pain-free and they have enough time to dedicate to giving these adaptations, yeah, we'll change to a mid-foot strike. I'm probably not ever going to want to get you into a 4-foot strike. If you think 4-foot, if your definition of 4-foot strike is what a lot of these professional runners are doing where that sliver of the heel is off the ground, even then, that is a special breed of runner. Be selective with what elements of professional running, whether it's from the sprint world or the distance world, that you try to put into your own training. And then certainly with stride length, we don't run with a big stride all the time. It's selective. But if you can't do this at any one point, that tells me volumes about your functionality in that triad of the hip, the glute, the hamstring. Core strength is important. Low back flexibility is important. So as I alluded to in the foot strike and stride length videos, we have a lot more people running than we ever did before. We're going to inherit a lot of injuries as physical therapists, personal trainers, and coaches. We just have to be careful about that plastic mold, one size fits all. There's certainly general principles of proper running form that I try to put into every runner. It's general principles, like teaching sprint mechanics first, even with the stride. I just want to see if you can do this. Even if you're never going to come close to 4th or 5th gear in training, just give me 1 or 2 rounds in maybe 4th gear. Let me see what you got. And then it's the specificity that we try to blend into the individual. I use a lot of different language today. I've inserted some new language. I've taken some language out. And as we get all these new runners coming into the marathon, half marathon, triathlon, duathlon, 5K world, some of them are coming at us with really athletic backgrounds. They will pick up these mechanical changes pretty quickly. I alluded to that a couple different times. Other folks don't have much of an athletic background, so you have to be very careful with those individuals as to what kind of foot strike or language you're putting in their head, because most of the time they're out there running on their own. You have to consider the focal points they have in their head. That's why I made this video series. I've seen enough stuff out there in online articles, other run form videos in magazines, and overheard things on the trail, in the running store, at the track, and watching people run around the track with metronomes and everything else, and just trying these new shoes that aren't working and prancing around on the balls of their feet when they're training for a Navy SEAL fitness test. I'm like, man, you're at a 13-minute mile. We got to go, man. Come on, we got to pick up the pace. Get out of those shoes, get off your forefoot, and let's start doing some real run training. So with DC Running Coach, I train you like an athlete. I find out who are you, what are you training for, and how much time do we have to work with. There's nothing you're going to say to me or ask of me that I have not heard at least 17 times before. That's because I am privileged to have worked with this very diverse group in the Washington, D.C. area, and a whole myriad goals coming at me. all shapes and sizes, all slices and dices of the demographics. I love it. And this is my gift back to the run community. So you can like this, share this, retweet it, whatever you're going to do out there with this video. If I've disabled comments, then so be it. Maybe I'm leading by example in that regard. And drop me a line if you want to set up a time for me. I can come in. I do clinics. I do seminars. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and learned a lot from it. And enjoy the rest of your race season.